Trump saying that he's going to be the unifier and the peacemaker, well, it's just talking out of both sides of his mouth. Unless we're talking about some sort of like Machiavellian concept in which we show strength through like a shock and awe campaign, and then we become the nicest people ever because we've already shown our citizens what we will do to them when they don't comply. But for him to sit there and say that that is going to be his legacy is a fucking laughing joke. This is the man who said immigrants poisoned the blood of this country. He constantly calls Marxist, communist, and left-wing people enemies of the state. How is that unifying? But let me tell you what he thinks is going to be unifying. You see, he's going to use his power and control of the government, all facets of the government at this point, and the right is going to take that because he won. The right is right. And they are going to use this as a means to make it seem like anybody who is not on their side is the problem. Hence why all these tech companies and billionaires and stuff are bending the knee to him. That's how he's unifying people, through fear and coercion. The very things that are fucking antithetical to democratic values and freedom and liberty. You can't say you're a unifier when you're using violence, threats, and fear and power. That's not a unifier. That's an authoritarian. And somehow the right thinks that that is what we should be doing. That like authoritarianism is okay. Just because he can say that with a smile, and just because your culture and values are at the top and in power, then it's okay for you to enact violence and fear and coercion against others. That's where we're at. Because at the end of the day, nobody did that on the left. All we did was make sure that people had an equal playing field, not people who were already in power having more power. How can you be unifying when you sit there and you're going to put in an executive order that just erases trans people, period? That's not unifying. That's using government. That's authoritarianism. You're using the government power to erase people's identity because you don't want to sit there and understand the actual what's going on. It's also a tactic of fascism. Fascism wants to simplify language. So instead of making sex and gender two separate things, which we've been trying to do because they are, fascism is now trying to make them one and the same. But they need sex and gender to be the same because that's what fascism needs. It needs a hierarchy. And that hierarchy is masculinity. Masculine people are in power and on top. And that's why they're afraid of trans people, because it ruins that hierarchy. That is a tenet of fascism. And it just so happens to coincide with biblical masculinity. So now the Christians are supporting this bullshit. Because apparently Jesus was also Ares, the god of fucking war. Guys, it is up to us to fucking stop seceding our power to these fucking people. It is up to us to stop making them feel like they're a part of fucking society, because they're not. This is not society. Societies don't act like this. Societies that are healthy don't fucking put in a criminal in the White House and then celebrate that he's a felon. It's fucking hilarious to me that the right will say that trans people are a mental illness when the fucking cancer that has infected the Republican Party is a mental illness. Who celebrates a fucking felon in the White House and then compares him to Jesus, who was a felon, and compares him to Gandhi, who was what fucking mental illness do you have to think that those are logical and reasonable fucking arguments? Social media has made us worse. This is a prime example on why the market of free ideas is fucking bullshit. Because guess what? The bad ideas aren't losing. They're winning.